saludos para toda mi gente, Roxani. Estoy aquí con Matt Harvey, el vocalista de la banda Left to Die. Estamos aquí en el soundcheck en Rock and Folk previo al concierto. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great. Stoked to be here. It's a beautiful day, and yeah, we're stoked.
How is the weather treating you?
It's great. I mean, it's winter back home. I mean, I live in California, so it's not like brutal, but it's nice to not have to worry about a jacket or a hoodie or a flannel shirt or anything. This is much preferable for me.
I saw that you were rocking the slippers in the soundcheck.
I always wear slippers unless I'm like either hiking or playing a show. Like I don't like shoes. I like to be outside all the time.
How are you feeling on this tour, this Latin American tour with Left to Die?
We're feeling great. It's been really awesome. The shows have been killer. Like, you know, there's a passion down here that I think you don't see in places like Europe and stuff. I think there's just a raw authenticity to the people that you meet every night after night, and their enthusiasm for the material. And, you know, it can be kind of tiring traveling around because, you know, you fly almost every day. But when you get on stage and you see the people reacting and they're so excited about the songs and everything, then you forget about the lack of sleep or whatever. You're just like...
It's very rewarding.
Absolutely. You know, it's like the energy that we get from the audience, we give back, and it just creates this glorious sort of feedback loop, and it's awesome. Yeah.
How did you land it in this project of Left to Die?
It's kind of a random... I'll try to keep it brief. Basically, when they did the first Death to All tour and there was all these various different people, they had tapped Stefan from Obscura to do some singing and guitar work, but they didn't get his visa because the people that organized the first tour were idiots. And so they called me like at the very last minute, like, hey, can you come and play some songs and I'd sing? And I was like, sure, but I mean, I have, you know, a week to learn like these songs that are, you know, pretty challenging. Anyway, so I sort of got tangentially involved in that, and then it was kind of a shit show the first tour, and I was busy with Exhumed, and then we crossed paths with Death to All again while Gus, our drummer, was out. He worked with Sean Reiner for years. They were very close friends. He was his drum tech, yada yada yada. Gus and I met there, and we were talking about how we thought that people like, you know, Rick and Terry and also Chris Ryford and James Murphy and some of these earlier guys, we would really wish that they would get involved with Death to All. Anyway, we just sort of jokingly said, well, if that doesn't work out, you know, you and I'll start a band that just sounds like Death and we'll just do that and that'll be funny. And then I wrote a couple songs and I was like, hey, remember when we were joking about that? That'd be funny. And Gus hit me back and he's like, these are actually kind of good. We should do this. And so that led to Gruesome. And then, you know, through Gruesome touring and doing all this stuff, we ended up getting asked by a guy that organized a show in Florida to do a gig with Terry and James Murphy where we played all the spiritual healing. So it was Gus and I and James Murphy and Terry. And Rick heard about it and he thought, oh, that was pretty cool. Like, you think these guys would want to do Leprosy? So he talked to Terry and they figured out that they wanted to do it. Then they asked us, and of course we're fans first, so we were very happy to do it. And then now here we are.
That's a very, like, it was a lot of steps.
I know, it's so random. And it's funny because at the very beginning, it was Gus and I talking about how we wanted to see Rick and Terry playing Leprosy. So I guess now we've come all the way back.
It was a full circle moment.
Yeah. Except we're not watching the show, we have to do it, but it's pretty fun.
But it's very powerful how you were like, hey, I really like that. I'm a fan, and now you're like in the stage doing that.
Yeah, it's I never would have imagined it. You know, I'm not, obviously was never in Death. I'm not even from Florida, I'm from California. I'm just like a fan, and I'm very fortunate to be here.
I was reading that Left to Die is gonna work on an album, like a band, right?
We've talked about it. You know, when we first got together, I think we had this sort of initial enthusiasm and we're like, well, yeah, let's do it. And then as time has gone on, we've kind of, you know, it's sort of fallen by the wayside. And I guess the way that I look at it is that, you know, with Exhumed, I have my own death metal band. So if I want to, you know, by death metal, I can do it there. And really my role in this band has always been to help Terry and Rick play the songs that they worked on back in the day. And if they want to work on songs and bring something, then I'm happy to help with that, but I'm kind of just letting it be. And I came to realize, after doing this for a little while, because, it's one of those things, you do a tour, you have no idea, we don't have a manager, we don't have a record label, it's completely DIY. So the fact that, it's been a few years now and we've been to Europe multiple times, across the United States multiple times, now we're here, we're going to Japan, we're going to Australia. The fact that it's gotten as far as it has is really remarkable. But I also kind of feel like if we put something out, the records, Scream Bloody Going Leprosy are so entrenched in the minds of the fans that if I went and paid $20 or whatever to see Left to Die, I would be like, oh, fuck yeah, I love this song. Fuck yeah, I love this song. They'd be like, oh, it was a new song. I was like, cool. I needed to get a beer and take a piss. Like, I'll just, And so, especially for the places that we have not played before, like Panama, I'm glad that we don't have any original material because I don't want to dilute the show. I don't want to water it down for the audience. I think that, they're coming here, they know what they're going to get. It's like you go to McDonald's, whether you like McDonald's or not, but you know what you're going to get. It's the French fries always taste the fucking same. So we're here to give that old school death metal, that raw, like authentic, 1989 kind of feeling. And, we're not, so I think it's kind of an advantage not having new material, but we'll see. I mean, it's
not a no, it's a maybe.
Yeah, and it's
we don't know.
And it's one of those things where I'm not gonna put any pressure on it. I'm just here to help Rick and Terry, and and when the time comes, I'm sure. When and if the time comes, I'm sure I won't be able to help myself. I'll be like, oh, what about this riff, and throw it in or whatever. But I don't want to. The band is there, the driving force of the band, and that's the way it should stay.
Well, you're gonna notice here in the audience that there's gonna be people that grew up with death. There's also gonna be a lot of people that didn't,
right,
that were inspired by it, like late 2005 and stuff. I have a friend that is trying to get here. She's a bassist, and she has all the Death CDs. And she's pretty young. You're gonna see a lot of young people here that were touched by that music. That's what I'm saying, that it's so powerful, the fact you have Left to Die, because it's gonna sound weird, but that is not going to die.
Right.
And that's like, a lot of people didn't have the chance with other bands, with their favorite bands, and that's very exciting. And I wanna thank you for coming here to Panama, for keep touring, to give the opportunity to the band, because you didn't have to. It was like an idea, and you went for it.
I mean, you're very welcome, and like I said, I'm a fan as well, and I'm very happy to be here, and I'm not trying to fill Chuck's shoes because that's not possible. I'm just trying to play the songs accurately and sing the songs the right way.
It's a very great way to keep this legacy alive.
Sure, and it's it's a cool thing because we see that a lot. There'll be people my age and even a little older that saw death back in the day, and a lot of my friends and stuff back in the early 90s, if death was coming, sometimes we'd be like, well, I don't know, like I don't like this album as much as the last one, and I gotta work tomorrow. And then now, being older and seeing, obviously Chuck's no longer with us, Sean Reinert's no longer with us, we all, people my age certainly, all have friends that are no longer here. And you think like, I really should have fucking gone because it wouldn't have been that bad coming into work tired the next day and hungover, So I think there's that generation, and then there's a younger generation that came into death later, and one of the amazing things about the audience now is that across all genres of metal, if you're coming in 2010, it doesn't really matter all the things that were important in the 80s and 90s, like magazine articles and your record label and your distributor and all this shit. None of that fucking matters because you just go on YouTube and there it is. And I think people are just discovering bands of all stripes and keeping them alive in a way that could never have happened before, when you had to like work, drive to the record store and see if it was in stock and blah, 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 and do all this shit. So it's really powerful to see this, not just death, but this whole genre of music continuing.
I was listening to the sound check and I was getting really excited because these two albums that you're gonna play that are Leprosy and Scream Bloody Gore, I guess. I mean, I like them, but I don't like how they sound. Okay. I mean, Death got progressively better with time, but this is also the opportunity to listen to the songs like in not raw, but like the whole music is going to get in the whole place. It's right. It's like more dance.
Sure. I mean, and you know, Leprosy at the time. This makes me sound really old because I'm really old. But Leprosy at the time, the production was really groundbreaking and really good for this style.
Yeah, it was
but you
like
hear
ahead of its time.
But then to hear it now, you're like, oh, this sounds like kind of thin and like, you know. And certainly Scream Bloody Gore is very raw, which is part of the appeal. And you know, it's. You can't help, obviously, going through modern PA and playing through modern equipment. It's gonna sound updated. I don't want to say different, but it's gonna sound updated because we're still playing the fucking material the same way that it was in the 80s. But it's gonna sound updated. It's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be more immediate. You know what I mean? Especially if you've never seen Death live and you're experiencing these songs for the first time. Like, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit different, as the kids say.
Yeah, it's gonna hit different. But we're really excited. We're very happy to have you here.
Awesome.
I mean, you're still gonna keep going on the tour dates. I guess you have like 5 more
shows. We have tomorrow off, and then we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we fly home Saturday. Yeah, we've got Honduras, El Salvador, and Mexico. So yeah, we started in Brazil, kind of went way down south, and now we're gradually going back north and heading home. So.
Well, since you're not going to the studio anytime soon, we're hoping that you get back soon because Latin America loves this shit. I mean, we love metal shows, and these kind of shows are like the ones we love the most.
Awesome. I really appreciate that, and like I said, we've really been feeling the love. You know, even like last night, the show, we had some weird issues, not with the performance itself, but there was just some weird shit. And I think we were all kind of frustrated. And we got done with the show and we were waiting to get picked up, and we're outside just talking to the people. And I was in kind of a shitty mood. And I met like, you know, 20 or 30 people, and their excitement just washed all that away. And I was like, cool. So it was a fucking win after all. Like, no matter how frustrating it was getting there, it was a win because the people that came all had smiles on their faces and they all had a great time. And that's, you know, we're having a great time doing that for people.
And we're gonna have a great time today.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Matt, for giving us your time and having this chat about different things. Sure. It was very nice. And I wish you the best of luck, not that you need it for the show.
I'll take it though. I'll take all the luck I can get.
Y a todos ustedes, los que están viendo esta entrevista, aquí les dejo un fragmento de lo que fue el concierto de Left to Die.